Oh, in our last EOS update, I went over the fact that we actually did break our major support and we were looking for other coins to potentially join the party in that boat, but we haven't seen anything like that. EOS, just like the other cryptocurrencies, remains in a bit of a holding pattern, and we don't have anything particularly bullish or bearish at the moment. This is the 15-minute chart for EOS, and you'll see this orange arrow. And well, as of our last update, it looked like we had a very strong setup to crash downwards. You can see some impulsive looking structures for the downside, but right now it's looking like this is an A, B, and probably a C wave. So we might still have a 1-2 in place, and it looked like we were ready to launch as of May 23rd or so, but we've kind of aborted that so far. So right now we don't have anything particularly bullish yet, but there's no obvious downside setup either. And the same is true for other cryptocurrencies as well. Bitcoin, while it had a nice rally yesterday, it's already kind of back. So we're having a lot of sideways consolidation. Ethereum, same kind of thing. We had almost a certain looking pullback setup as of May 24th, and it did not materialize. And of course, there's Bitcoin Cash, which I've been using to represent my altcoins in most of my analyses, because all the altcoins for the most part are following the same pattern. And the story is the same here as well, in which we could count a large 1-2. You have your 5-wave impulse up and a 3-wave corrective pullback in place. So looking at EOS, we still have open possibilities. Do we have some upside ahead? Are we about to launch into a 3rd wave more realistically? That is yet to be seen. Otherwise, we still have a setup potentially for a 1st wave down and a 2nd wave up. This is not textbook by any means. It does not look impulsive. Maybe you have a leading diagonal down. 1, 2, 3. I can only count 3 waves down. It's nothing particularly strong in terms of a setup, nothing confident, but presuming that we do have our downside ahead, if we take this as a 1st wave down, a 2nd wave up, we're projecting somewhere between $1.05 to $1. So about where we were on our low on May 12th. I don't expect too much more downside. And the same applies to pretty much all the other cryptos, aside from some of them like Ethereum Classic, just because some of the cryptos did not go as deep into their support boxes as EOS or most of the other coins have. Now, going to the big picture, we had a giant shift in how we're analyzing EOS. And I'm also keeping a close eye on Dash, which also came very close to invalidating its, well, not invalidating, but breaking its 2020 support, March 2020. You can see how in Dash, we were very close, got down to about what, $36. Our major support sits at about 32, something like that. So it got very close, and the pattern is starting to look very similar in both coins, with a major high way back years ago. Actually, this high was back in 2018, so spring 2018, April to be exact. This so there were 2 peaks here, lots of volatility. It could be because EOS was a new coin at the time or whatever. Sometimes you see a lot of volatility in brand new IPO stocks, things like that, or meme stocks, whatever it is. So we saw that, and right now we are counting this entire thing as a continuous correction, because as we can see, we had a lower low here. So again, A, B, C. Why is this entire thing correction? Well, if this was a 1-2, our 2nd wave would not have pulled back below our March 2020 low, but it did. So there's no way this can be counted as an impulsive setup. So therefore, we have reset the entire pattern, with our low being the new anchor point, basically, for all of our analyses. Our low was around $1, I think, right? $1.05. Yeah, it's actually about right on the big picture chart. That is from where we are basing our larger rally structures. When we look at our original low down here, this is not really particularly trustworthy, because a lot of things happen right after coin goes public. There's probably more history back here that I didn't capture just due to the limitations of TradingView, but we have a 38-cent base, 35, 38, somewhere around there. So I'm going to use that as my base for analysis of the bigger picture. So that tells us that we have a big 1 and a 2, but this is completely arbitrary. Again, the sentiment patterns are totally unknown in the past. Even though it doesn't look like it, this could have been a 3rd wave blow off like we've seen in other coins. Some of the other bigger coins may shed some light as to what exactly this is. I just did mention Dash is in a similar boat. So if we shift over to that, perhaps it'll give us some answers, or at least some semblance of an answer. Let me put this back on logarithmic. I don't know why it came off of the log view, but when we look at this thing, we have our blow off about the same time, December 2017 or so. And that does count as a pretty clean 3rd wave top. So that means that there's a good chance that EOS also has the same situation, in which we actually have a 3rd wave top back there. And even though I have it marked as a first wave, I don't know where my nomenclature went. So I'm going to have this one here. I'm actually going to copy this and make an alternate count that has this as the third wave. Maybe I'll make it a different color, maybe magenta, something like that. That could change. So if that is the case, that means that our correction that we just finished could actually be a larger fourth wave. Now I'm wishing the pattern, the color choice were a little different. I'm going to make it green instead. That way we don't have as much confusion with like colors. Do the same thing with my third wave top here. So if that's the case, that would still mean we have one more leg of the rally left, and it would align with Dash, it would align with Bitcoin, it would align with Ethereum, and it to some extent aligns with our stock market as well, because in the Dow Jones, the S&P, we had our top somewhere in the spring of 2018. And a lot of you may recall we had a volatility storm, quote unquote. We had a couple of, inverse volatility funds explode. A lot of crazy stuff was happening, but that was the top of our third wave before we had the major crash that hit end of 2018. Then we completed that crash in a C wave in 2020. That's what that was, March 2020. Cryptos have done the same kind of thing. So if that is the case, we can actually model some of this off of what we see in Dash. So with Dash, if we look at the big picture pattern, we had what looks to be about a 38% retrace from our third wave to our fourth wave. So if we approximate what we see there, I'm actually going to build another Fibonacci pattern there on the EOS chart. So I'm going to do this on the fly. So forgive me for a little bit of the little madness here. So I'm going to go back, have this set up right at the root and make this a 38% retrace. Ooh, that's a long way down. So that would be 0.007. Maybe that's where EOS was at the beginning of its journey. So if that is the case, we still have at least, well, we're going to get somewhere between $23 and $155 based on standard Fibonacci Elliott wave, fifth wave extensions. Again, if you have a 3 and a 4 wave in place and you build a fib extension off of that, your fifth wave will often, very often, target between the 0.32 and 0.61 extensions of that bigger pattern of the 3-4. I also have, if we are assuming that this is actually a first wave top, this Fibonacci does point somewhere between 525 and 1388. So we need to see a bit more action before we can confirm how high this could possibly go. But there's a stronger and stronger feeling that this next wave, this next rally will be the final rally, because we're seeing that in several different coins, the stock market and commodities, certain commodities, not all of them, that we are going to hit some kind of a major cyclical high within the next 1 to 2 years. So therefore, whatever this is, probably going to be good to get out of your positions once we get up there. I'm actually going to draw this box here just to give you guys a bit more of a visualization as to where this thing could end up. And I know these red numbers are here. These are probably going to be removed just to reduce confusion. I'm trying to see if I can recolor this. Here we go. I'm going to put no color here just to prevent any concern. So if that is the case, we should see a 5-wave rally into that box. I'm actually going to put our fifth wave right at the bottom of the box because there's obviously a strong resistance, because there's a major high right there, right around $23 or so. So that will be my current target until we have a bit more clarification, a bit more of a structure to build an Elliott wave impulse off of. Whether it's even an impulse, that's still up for debate. We don't really have any history in EOS. The only place we do have any bullish history is probably back here. And this does look like an impulse of some sort, maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows what it looked like before that point, but that is where we stand. So let's look for a bigger 5-wave rally to give more clarification on what to expect. As for my situation, I think I did mention I sold a lot of my coins, 50%. Some of them I've sold more of. I'm waiting for a better chance to put some of it back in. So any day now, I may be jumping back in. If you're looking for a more confident setup, we always look for a 5-wave impulse and a 3-wave pullback. And then we want to get through here. So if we start getting through this box here, you could start putting in some money, maybe put some tranches in. Otherwise, you could wait for a larger impulse that could top somewhere between $1.95 to $2 and a 3-wave pullback off of that. That would be a more high confidence point at which to deploy your cash, because we'd have a lot more top end here, a lot more upside here. Again, our minimum target based on this big picture pattern I just redid on the fly, it's about $23 eventually. So even if you get in about $5 or $6, that's still a pretty good return. So right now we are waiting to see if we see for some more action. I do keep mentioning that the stock market itself, this is the ES mini futures. It's very bullish. We have nested impulsive setups in place. And as long as we respect the lows that we've been hitting, we keep making higher lows. That's a sign that our 5-month bear market may be over. So a lot of excitement ahead. Subscribe so that you don't miss any updates. And until next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.